Do you have a client story?
On the executive level side, I've also had the pleasure of representing a gentleman who worked for a company for a really long time, was very dedicated, and he started to have some serious health issues. And he needed time off, and he didn't know how all the laws that impact employees play and will impact him. So he reached out to me and really just asked me to prepare a memo and explain the law to him. And I did that, and he thanked me, and I thought the representation was over. And about 10 months later, he contacted me and said, "Hey, Dave, my employer's at it again. I think they're treating me poorly." So I stepped in, and I looked at the situation, and I realized that they were trying to do something to him that I considered was illegal under the employment laws that applied. And so I reached out to the general counsel of this major organization, which happened to be located in downtown Manhattan, and they invited us, after some negotiations, they invited us to come, my client and I, to come to Manhattan to meet with the general counsel and the owner. We had no idea what to expect, but we took a train ride up, and the owner was a little bit of a hothead. I don't think he liked lawyers too much, and he said, from the beginning of the meeting, the first thing he said was, "We're going to get this resolved today. It's not going any further." So several hours later, we were negotiating terms of an agreement that would really help my client get back to a position that he wanted to be in with his employer, but would also take into consideration his health issues. And we were very close to negotiating the agreement. The general counsel and I were sitting in an office trying to hammer out the details when this CEO came back into the room, and he misheard something that I said, and he slammed the door and said to me, "You're about 1 minute away from ruining this deal for your client." And I didn't appreciate being talked to like that. So I said to him, "It's actually sooner than a minute. I'm on my way out of here, and I'm taking my client, and the deal's off." And I left. I went to get my client, and I told my client, "We're out of here." The CEO came chasing after me, apologizing, and got me into a room and said, "Please accept my apology." And I said, "I'll think about it on my train ride back to Philadelphia." The general counsel then came out and talked to me separately. I spoke to my client. We were able to eventually resolve the matter, but I said to the general counsel, "This is only getting resolved because of the way I was just treated. If you pay for all of my client's attorney's fees." And they said, "How much?" And I told them how much, and they went into a room, and 30 seconds later they said, "We have no problem with that." I think that was a real defining moment for me because most importantly, it got my client an excellent result that he's eternally grateful for. And also, it shows that when I approach a problem with an adversary, I come to it in a collaborative fashion, and I expect collaboration from the other side. And if there's collaboration, it works out great. If there's not collaboration, that's when I take the hardline approach. And in this particular example, I had a nice train ride home knowing that I did really well for my client. And I still keep in touch with that client. He has some ongoing health issues, and everything's going well at work these days. And he actually called me a couple days ago, and he said, "You know what, Dave? Everything you said about how this was going to play out, you were spot on. You were spot on about the law. You were spot on about the psychology of it. You were spot on about the personal interactions of it." He's like, "I trusted you at a time that I was having a major health issue, and I needed someone." And he's like, I gave you everything. I gave you my life, and you handled it for me, and I'm eternally grateful." And that's a great feeling.